Hello YouTube, I forgot one game.
YouTube, we're back.
This kind of sucks. I don't really buy a lot of long box copies because they take up a lot of space.
I wish
PS1
everything came in little
little
things like this.
A lot of my
Little
games,
cases like that, but
I've been trying
My
to
favorite
revive
game
back
has to be my
very,
favorite game for
little by
PlayStation.
little. You know,
Sculpt
back then I
rigs.
used to have people who would get my shit and sell it for beer money.
What it is a
So,
futuristic tank
What I
game.
have is what I have. Anyways,
Based on apparently what they call it too is
let's start off with
it's not
this
just
one.
a tank game. It's a game
Ballerina
that's an
2
online game.
yeah, that's what the storyline's
Yeah,
about. It's online.
cases are screwed up.
The
It's
whole
kind of
game
hard
is
to keep them
online
in
and it's
mint
tricking people into
condition,
playing it.
considering the fact that
100
all the
levels
movies
of
I've done
fun, though.
over the last couple of years.
Okay, yeah. So there you have it. We'll go ahead and end this now. Thanks for
That
watching. Laters.
Bloody Roar 2. I think the only Bloody Roar I don't have is the one for
I forgot one game.
for the original Xbox and the
This kind of
very
sucks.
first game.
I don't really buy a lot of long box copies because they take up a lot of space.
I wish everything came in little things like this, little cases like that. But
My favorite game has to be my favorite game for PlayStation. Sculpt rigs.
One of the greatest games of all time. There's a Capcom versus SNK 2.
What is a futuristic tank game?
I mean,
Based
Capcom versus SNK
apparently
Pro,
what they
not
call it too is
So that's a pretty cool game.
it's not just a tank game. It's a game that's an online game.
Back then, see,
that's
back
what the
then they would
storyline's
have
about,
the
it's
arcade
online.
game called
the whole game is online and it's tricking people into
Capcom
playing
versus
it.
SNK.
100
And when
levels
they
of
put it
fun,
on
though.
Here, PS, it would be called the home one would be Capcom versus SNK Pro, like the EX games,
Okay,
EX plus
yeah.
Alpha.
There you have it. We'll go
Where the
ahead and end
game's
this now.
actually supposed to be
Thanks
just
for watching.
EX.
Laters.
And then there's EX plus 2 plus, which is just EX2, the home versions basically. But yeah, try to do a little less talking. There's some things I want to say, but Cardinal Sin. This is a pretty crazy game. You could die. Everybody. It's a fighting game. Each have a full life bar, and you could die the moment the game starts. That's how crazy this game is. Be very careful, especially when fighting Kron. He's a big ass dragon, second to last character before you fight Sin. All he has to do is reach out, grab you in his mouth, and he'll swing and swing until you split in two. It's insane about how hard this game can be. Destruction Derby 2, one of the favorites from a lot of people that I knew. In the back. Driver 2. Oh, yeah, get my hand out of the way for a bit. Yeah, go ahead. Hopefully my memory doesn't run out because this might be a long video. I'm trying to go as fast as I can. We got Duke Nukem Time to Kill. This was back when Duke was actually cool. Nowadays, not that great of a game. Well, the last game they made wasn't that good. But remember, nobody steals our chicks and lives. There's Duke Nukem Total Meltdown. The fun Duke game, I don't think a lot of people played it. It's for Game Boy Color. Believe it or not, they made a Game Boy Color Duke Nukem game. Hail to the king, baby. The original $300 to $500 game because they only made 10,000 copies in America. If it doesn't say Atari, the original game was made by Bandai. This game sucked ass. It wasn't a good game at all. A lot of people, oh, it's a great game. Finally found this, that they made a reprint by Atari for freaking 15 bucks. And it was one of the worst Dragon Ball Z games I've ever played. This one was better. Ultimate Battle 22. Of course, it'll be Ultimate Battle 27 once you insert the code for the hidden characters. By the way, in here you have Vegito. That's not Vegito, that's Gogeta. Yeah, so they kind of made an error there. PlayStation, oh yeah, Dynasty Warriors. Originally, Dynasty Warriors was a fighting game. A lot of people don't realize that. It used to be a fighting game. The first game was a fighting game before they started going up to making it into how it is nowadays, where it's just a action adventure type of thing almost. You go around killing all kinds of people. Yeah, see, back then it was a fighting game. Ear keys. Believe it or not, I found this in a GameStop dumpster. This was the first time that they would remember. There's how do you call it? Dissidia Final Fantasy. Well, believe it or not, this is the first time they tried to make a Final Fantasy fighting game. Ear keys. Gods of the Ring. God bless the ring. But yeah, I only found the disc, which kind of sucks. But yeah, there's Fatal Fury Wild Ambition, a 3D fighter. And actually, you won't always fight Geese as your final boss. Terry can be the final boss on occasion. Pretty good game. Really good game. Let me show you these three. Final Fantasy Anthology, Final Fantasy Chronicles, and Final Fantasy Origins. The thing about these is you're going to get... what was it? 5 and 6 in here, 4 and Chrono Trigger in here, and 1 and 2 the original. The funny thing is, 1, 2, we had 3 Final Fantasy games, 1 for Nintendo and 2 for Super Nintendo. Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 3, 2 Final Fantasy 3. In Japan, they had already had 6 Final Fantasy games. Technically, our Final Fantasy 2 is actually Final Fantasy 4 up there. Our Final Fantasy 3 is their Final Fantasy 6. Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 3, and Final Fantasy 5 were not previously released in America until these, like Final Fantasy 5 in here, it wasn't released in America yet. Final Fantasy 2 in this, it wasn't released in America yet. Final Fantasy 3 wouldn't be released in America until they came out with the DS copy. Let me go ahead. We'll go with Anthology first. Terra. And Kefka. Kind of weird that they didn't put a picture of someone from 5 on there. There we go. Final Fantasy 4. Why they decided to throw Chrono Trigger is beyond me. I think they should have put a different Final Fantasy game. Maybe 3 instead of Chrono Trigger. There's Origins. That, by the way, is Furion. He's from Final Fantasy 2. Nice looking artwork on the disc. Okay. Forsaken. We're not even halfway through and I've already done 8 minutes. There's Frogger. A really good one. The first time they ever had, how do you say, FMV movies for their endings. Guilty Gear. The original Guilty Gear. Gundam Battle Assault. They turned Gundam Wing, one of my favorite anime, into a fighter. And I think that's what the new Gundam Versus is going to be like too, is a fighting game. Pretty cool. And we also got Battle Assault 2 with the Wing Zero. I'm actually obsessed with robotics, which a lot of people don't actually know. I would love to build my own mobile suit one day if I had the money. Okay. King of Fighters 95. This would be the first and only
release of King of Fighters in America until 99 came out. 96, 94, 96, and 97 would all be released when they came out with the Orochi Saga for PS2 and PSP. The funny thing about that is the Japanese copy only got 90, 95, 96, and 97. We got 98 and 94 on it. It's funny that they added Vanessa and Seth in this when they weren't characters into 2000. They're not on this game. And again, they're not on this game, but they have them on there. Metal Gear. Yeah. I guess we can go back this way real quick. Same thing. Whoa, can't believe it came out. Probably one of the better games on this too was Metal Gear. We also have the... guess I'll just run through it. Oh, this one doesn't have the manual though. Let me set this down real quick because this case is so screwed up, it's... I don't know. Yeah, there we go. Mortal Kombat 4. Sub-Zero. The Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero. Hey, there we go. Quan Chi. I had one of the funniest fatalities ever where he rips your leg off and he beats the shit out of you with it. Wow. Namco Museum. NHL 2000. Omega Boost. I've actually never played that game. I just have it. Pong. That's a new way to play Pong. It's not the actual old way. Although the old way can be played here, but it's got a different, like, see? Many different ways of playing Pong. Even a football version of Pong. Quake, which is kind of weird. I don't know what the hell's going on here because there's Medieval on there, and we're not going to see Quake 2 on the back of this. It's going to be Medieval. So, yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on there. Resident Evil 2. We'll shorten the stacks. There's 2 copies of Soul Calibur. Well, Soul Blade, which is the original Soul Calibur, which a lot of people don't know about. A lot of people don't even know about Li Long, who was the original guy using nunchucks. Pretty funny. See, there he is again. Before Maxi, there was Li Long. A lot of people don't know that. Star Wars Jedi Power Battles. This is a really fun game. Pretty overrated. I mean underrated as far as I was concerned, but it's a really fun game. Street Fighter Alpha 3. This one sucked because of the fact that everybody fights Bison at the end except for Evil Ryu, who gets to face Goki at the end. Unlike the other Street Fighter games where you got to fight everybody. Anybody. Like, let's say Ryu always fought Sagat. Ken actually fought Sagat. It's pretty crazy how Street Fighter Alpha 1 and 2 were. There's a Street Fighter Collection which has... what was it? Street Fighter Alpha 2, Street Fighter Alpha 2 Gold, Super Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Alpha Gold, and Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Kind of pointless, huh? 2 Super Street Fighter 2s. Not much of a collection as far as I was concerned, but yeah. Street Fighter Alpha 2 Gold apparently has, well, apparently wasn't originally released in America until this, and that was the first appearance of Cammy in a Street Fighter Alpha game. Street Fighter EX plus Alpha, like I say, was the home version. The original version was Street Fighter EX, and that's it. Same with this one, Street Fighter EX 2 Plus. The original version was Street Fighter EX 2 in the arcades. Siphon Filter 3. I don't know why they overloaded it. Maybe because it was a big book. I don't have the book though, but Tekken 1. I don't have the booklet for it. Tekken 2. One of them's actually broken. Tekken 3. Actually has 2 different copies of it. Tomb Raider. We're almost there, guys. WCW Nitro. There's the Giant. You guys all know him as the Big Show these days. See, there he is again. DDP too. Crazy game. I mean, the crazy thing is Goldberg is actually in the. He's not in this one, but he's actually in the other one, the version for Nintendo 64. Nintendo 64, because this one has a bunch of guys, like, let's say, people who created the game and a bunch of other garbage like that. And the Nintendo 64 version is just straight up 80 different wrestlers. There's the secondary to it, WCW Thunder, NWO Thunder. Goldberg. I like the PS versions because they have a little rant on the screen. You push the X button and they'll say a little thing before you can select them. Of course, the ones for the N64 don't do that, but, you know. WCW versus the World, which is actually known as Virtual Pro Wrestling back in Japan. And actually, in that retrospect, WCW NWO World Tour in Nintendo 64, that's known as Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 in Japan. WWF in Your House. Very fun arcade-style wrestling game. There's a bunch of your favorite legends from back in the days, like the Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, Vader, Owen Hart. One of the last games Owen Hart was in. SmackDown. SmackDown 2. And as a little bit of an added bonus, we will include my mini collection of Dreamcast games. Dead or Alive 2. I don't have much of a Dreamcast collection. My Dreamcast games came with my Dreamcast. When I bought my Dreamcast, all these games came with it. I only paid $50 at the time, and it came with all these games, which was only 5 of them. Had to put it down for a bit. And here's a Mortal Kombat Gold, which is a takeoff of the Mortal Kombat 4 game. they added extra characters. All those characters right there weren't wait. Okay, I know two of those characters, like Kung Lao and Baraka. Yeah, that looks like Baraka. I know they weren't previously released in the Mortal Kombat 4. See, maybe it'll say right here. Well, don't. But yeah, there are certain characters that didn't make it to Mortal Kombat 4 in this game. They made this one especially for the. Let me see. It doesn't help much to look in the book, but yeah, I know there's a couple of characters that didn't make it to Mortal Kombat 4 that were specifically made just for this game, for Mortal Kombat Gold. There's a NBA 2K, back when 2K used to kick ass. Allen Iverson, The Answer. There's NFL 2K, and yes, NFL 2K was a lot better than the Madden garbage that they give us now. There's Randy Moss. And the original Soul Calibur, which is the reason to get, one of the main reasons to get a Dreamcast is this wasn't available on any other system. They made Soul Calibur especially for Dreamcast. So, there you have it. My PS1 collection. Thanks for watching and watching this whole video. If you guys stayed to see the whole thing, laters. And, well, yeah, laters. Hello, YouTube. I forgot one game. This kind of sucks. I don't really buy a lot of long box copies because they take up a lot of space.
I wish everything came in little things like this, little cases like that. But
my favorite game has to be my favorite game for PlayStation, Assault Rigs. What it is a futuristic tank game. Based on, apparently what they call it too is it's not just a tank game, it's a game that's an online game. And that's what the storyline's about, it's online. The whole game is online and it's tricking people into playing it. 100 levels of fun though. Okay, yeah, so there you have it. We'll go ahead and end this now. Thanks for watching. Laters.